Hey everyone, it's Catherine. I'm pretty sure I'm in the last year of school, unless I go to an MBA program or get my PhD or master's, I'm pretty sure this is the last time I'll ever be in sort of a classroom setting. So I figured I might as well spill all of my best kept secrets for how I've done well academically. I haven't been a 4.0 student for my entire life, but I was in high school, which was like a hot minute. And I've interacted with a lot of 4.0 students. I'm friends with a lot of straight A students. I know people who have achieved it. It's not impossible. So I want to share the habits that I've collected and I've seen others do over the years to pretty much guarantee them a stellar GPA, if not a perfect 4.0. Number one, during the first few weeks of the semester, which are usually known as syllabus week, where most of the time during syllabus week you just chill, you show up to class, you read over the syllabus, you get out of there, and you don't think about school too much. Straight A students, though, flip that on its head and make syllabus week the time of the semester where they're putting in the most concentrated effort. And that's because of the halo effect. The halo effect means that if you do well and you look like an angelic student for the first few weeks of the semester, that halo will stay with you for the entire semester. So if you don't want to work as hard for the majority, just put in some good effort during the first few weeks, show up to class, participate heavily, ask great questions, do the reading, talk to the professor after class, be an engaged student for those first few weeks. And even if you slack off later or you forget an assignment or you do something maybe not A-worthy, they'll still have the original image in their mind of you as the best student in the class. Number two, make every assignment a meaningful one. If you have the benefit of actually choosing a topic for a project, an assignment, a paper, make it something that means something to you. For example, if your dream job is to work at Disney and you're assigned a project that says, talk about the best social media marketing campaign from 2016. Don't just pick the most common one, the most readily available, the most popular one that everyone else is going to do because it's an easy topic. Pick something that you could feasibly use later on down the line. You could use your project where you talk about the best social media marketing campaign that Disney did in an interview with Disney, in a conversation with someone that works at Disney. You can impress someone by doing something that's meaningful to you. And also, if you pick a topic you're passionate about, you're going to do a lot better on that assignment than just a topic that is easy or accessible. Number three, if you didn't know, you can actually send assignments to your teachers and professors early and have them review them before they're officially due. A lot of times, if you just ask them, hey, if I send this to you a week in advance, can you check over it, make sure it meets up to expectations, I'm on the right track, or this one line of thought makes sense. If you send them your papers, your essays, your projects, and just say, look at that outline, look at the rough draft, look at something in about 5 minutes, they can give you the critique early on so you can fix that and get the better grade on later. Number four, A students review their flashcards not only forwards, but backwards. So most of the time when we make flashcards, we'll have a term and a definition, and when we see the term, we'll think about the definition. But also make sure you're reviewing the flashcards so that when you see the definition, you know the term. On tests, they won't always say, define this theory. Sometimes it'll just say, explain this concept using a theory you learned in class. If you just studied the definitions of the flashcards, you won't be able to think of the theories on their own. You'll just know when you see that theory, it's this definition. Kind of hard to explain and understand, but make sure you know it both ways. Number five, most of the A students I have ever known have used really extensive checklists, to-do lists, planners, calendars. They have everything written down because the easiest way to give up a perfect grade is just to let one tiny assignment slip through. Letting just one reading or one handout or one pop quiz slip through can hurt your grade for literally no reason. My advice is to keep all of those assignments in the same place. In the beginning of the semester, determine where you want to store everything. Go through each one of your syllabi and write down every single deadline in your calendar or your planner. Every single time your teacher makes an update and says, hey, we're moving that quiz up, or there's now a handout you have to turn in next Tuesday, when you hear those things, don't just write them down in your notes from that day or on a sticky note or in a reminder on your iPhone. Put them in that central place, either your planner or your calendar, so that everything is cohesive, because that is going to keep you way more together and make sure there's nothing that slips through. Number six is kind of controversial, but sit in the front row. I feel like a lot of the reasons people don't want to sit in the front row are the reasons you should. For example, you should sit in the front row because it keeps you in class. If you're in the back row, if you skip class, no one's going to really notice. But if you're in the front row and you're gone one day, the professor is going to see that and maybe discount you a little bit. So it keeps you accountable if you sit in the front row, because you'll actually show up to class every day and make a good impression of yourself. It'll also feel like a much smaller classroom environment because realistically, it feels like there's no one else in the room but that first row. You don't see anyone else in front of you. It's just you and the professor. It makes for a much better relationship. Additionally, you can make eye contact with the professor much easier. That's a comment I've gotten again and again from teachers, that they think I'm a really engaged student because I'm continuously making eye contact with them and not just looking at my laptop or looking at my notes all the time. They'll think you are much more engaged and paying attention if you do that. Even if you're drifting off, it's just better if you can make eye contact, and it's so much easier to do in the first row. And then most obviously, it's much easier to participate if you're in the front row. You'll get a lot more participation credit. The professor will get to know you better if you're in the front row, and that's what's going to separate you at the end of the semester when they're thinking, hey, should I bump her up from an A- to an A or keep her at that A-? Number 7, join clubs with people that are 4.0 students. So join an honor society or community service organization or a club for your major, because then when you go into a new classroom, maybe you don't have, a ton of friends there, you'll automatically have a couple of people who you can sit next to. If you miss something the professor says, you can ask them. If you don't understand a homework assignment, you can ask someone who probably actually understands it. And when it comes time to form group projects, you'll have the most competent people in the class in your group, so you're already set up to do better because you have other people with you that can kind of comfort you and keep you on the right track for that class's grade. Number 8, most underrated, A students get sleep. I know you can probably think of a lot of exceptions to this rule, but overwhelmingly the best students are the ones that are the most rested, most prepared for the day. I think we all think we're like superhuman and can pull all-nighters and can get 3 hours of sleep every night and still do super well because we see the good grades we get. But you're going to do so much better if you just put in the time to make a sleep schedule for yourself. Say, I'm going to get ready for bed at 10:30 every day, be in bed by 11, wake up at 7. That rhythm is going to do you loads of good. You can listen to me now or listen to me later, but I promise you the second you start doing that, you'll notice a dramatic difference in your ability to pay attention during class and really, really be a better student. I'm sure I left some things out, so if you can think of further tips that I didn't mention, leave those down below. We can start a sort of forum for getting good grades. I'm going to be spilling the rest of my secrets about how to be a better student on this channel throughout the rest of my semester, so subscribe to see those updates. If not, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time, and Cather out.
Grant Cardone here, New York Times bestselling author. I want to talk to you about unemployment and how to get a job and how to get the job you want and literally get the job you want and do it in 36 hours. So I'm going to be sharing 12 tips with you. I've used these myself. I've shared them with other people, regardless of what you hear in the marketplace. Nobody's hiring. I can't get the job I want. Nobody's paying. I'm going to show you how to get a job. These 12 tips will guarantee you a job, and they'll guarantee you the job you want and literally get you the job you want in 36 hours. Number 1, this is what I want you to do. I want you to abhor, literally stay away from any idea that you're going to accept unemployment. Unemployment is a killer. Don't do it. Do not be tempted by this easy thing called unemployment. Yes, you paid into it. Yes, you deserve it. No, you don't want it. Trust me, okay? You don't want it. The government offers crumbs. What are you going to do? You're going to have to go back into the marketplace sooner or later and say what? Hey, I want a job. I need a job. I got to get to work. Work is important. And the guy's going to look at you and say, what happened the last 33 weeks? Well, it's a bad job market. He thinks you're contaminated. Don't kid yourself. It's not fair. It's not right. It shouldn't happen to anyone. He's going to look at you. And if somebody was working 3 weeks ago and you hadn't worked in 33 weeks, I promise you he's taking the other guy. So what I want you to do is I want you to say no to unemployment. Say no, I do not want it. I will not take it. My job is to get a job and go into that marketplace. Refuse the easy route. Go the hard route. I'm going to show you in the other 11 steps how to get the job and decide you're going to get a job. If you don't make that decision, if you're tempted by the unemployment, the other 11 strategies won't work.